r/AskReddit. Have you ever laughed so hysterically at something so simple you were starting to get legitimately worried that you were losing your sanity or something? About what were you laughing so hard then? It was a windy day and I was eating a bagged lunch with my coworkers. Suddenly a huge gust of wind blows the bag and all my food away, leaving me staring at an empty table with a fork in my hand. I didn't even try to catch it. I just started laughing so hard I had to lay on the ground. The ability to laugh at my own pain is like my only superpower. I had a dream recently that a friend of mine spent 2 full hours focusing intensely hard on writing something down. When he was finally finished, he showed it to me in a 5-year-old's handwriting in crayon. The page simply read "Apple dear dognuts." I laughed so hard I woke myself up crying. Also, I was once at a small but serious poetry reading event at my university. A few people spoke about different connections they had to the poet, like the host of the event who introduced had gone to grad school with her, the university president who had worked with her mentor, etc. My friend whispered to me in this goofy voice, and I fucked her mom. We both were laughing so hard people were turning around to glare like 4 rows ahead, even though we were trying to be silent. I laughed on and off for half an hour and had to leave the event early because it was so disruptive/inappropriate. I was at a Christmas show in a stadium theater where a bunch of different people/groups performed various Christmas songs. There was one group of little girls performing a song, I can't remember which one, but it was so bad that it was just comical and adorable. My cousins and I could not stop laughing, shoulders bouncing, trying to keep it in, but it was so funny. We didn't want to be inappropriate, but we were dying. I didn't question my sanity, but I got stuck in a laughing loop with my then 1-year-old son. He was laughing at my laugh, and I was laughing at his. It was the better part of an hour and we were both exhausted afterward. It was over 30 years ago and it still makes me some when I think about it. This reminds me of a sleepover I had in middle school. There wasn't enough couch space for all of us girls to sleep on, so me and a few of my friends were on the floor. I can't explain why, but everything I heard was hilarious. I laughed until it hurt to smile. I justified it by saying that everything is funny on the floor, so we all took turns lying on the carpet and laughing our asses off. The people on the couch started laughing at the people on the floor, and the people on the floor were laughing because the people on the couch were laughing. It still holds true today, everything really is funny on the floor. I haven't thought about this in at least a decade, but your comment reminded me that, according to my middle school friends, everything is funnier upside down. I remember hanging off the couch with all the blood rushing to my head and laughing until I couldn't breathe. Worked every time. My mom once said boo to my dad, who kept hiccuping to make him stop. She said it in the most innocent and pure way that we couldn't stop laughing. The laughing went on for like an hour though. Years ago I was having drinks with my best friend when she developed the hiccups. I told her I would have to scare her. About 5 minutes later, I told her I had something very serious to talk to her about. She leaned in, looking a little worried. I sighed heavily and said, "You're pregnant." Her eyes got huge, and in a panicked voice she asked, "I am?" She immediately realized her mistake, but it was too late. I was dying laughing. Literal tears running down my face. I couldn't pull it together. It's still a memory that makes me giggle. And the best part is it worked. Her hiccups stopped. I don't remember the context, but my best friend and I, then in our preteens/early teens, were flopping around on her bedroom floor and screaming fish out of water. We insisted on showing her mom, who looked at us like we were on meth. I almost passed out. I could not breathe from laughing so hard. Are you sure it wasn't just your gills not working on land? LMAO, I don't know you, but I love you as much as a fish can feel love. Anyway. Many years ago, I went through about a week-long phase where I simply could not read my credit card number over the phone without laughing hysterically. No reason. It just started one day. Then I think I got all up in my head and it just snowballed from there. Every time I tried to order food, confirm some travel reservation, whatever, I would start laughing, and it would take me forever to get through the number. The surprising thing was how infectious the laughter was. I thought the people on the other end of the phone would be annoyed, but probably 9 times out of 10 they'd start laughing too. It was like some virulent mindworm of contagious hysteria. And then just as suddenly as it started, it was over. Hasn't happened since, though I still brace myself every time, just in case. It was actually something in an AskReddit thread. The question was something along the lines of what is an unsolved mystery or paranormal activity that cannot be explained? Someone's reply was that one time, when they were younger they farted, and the TV turned off. I have no idea why, but something about how it was sandwiched between much more serious replies just made me lose it. I was laughing so much my wife came to ask what was so funny. Her reaction, basically calling me an idiot, made me laugh even more. Even as I type this comment I'm grinning like an idiot thinking about it. Edit. Whoa, this blew up. Wife is still sleeping beside me, and I'm giggling reading all these replies. Thanks for all the awards and all the laughs. This is what makes Reddit awesome. Not on a Reddit post, but a username. I don't usually read usernames, but there was a completely serious comment on a serious post made by user poopflavoredp or something to that effect. I laughed way harder than you would expect from a 37-year-old woman. It was late and my wife was driving us home. We passed by an R&W, a fast food chain with its own root beer. My wife said, "Hey, you know what R&W stands for?" And I said I assumed it was the initials of the founders. She said, "No, it's for hamburgers and would be," and I instantly and fully lost my shit. Her delivery was so cute, and I was so tired, that I laughed about it for the entire rest of the 15-minute drive. For the next several days I was still giggling every time I thought about it. This reminds me of the funniest thing my wife has ever done. We were on a weekend trip to New York City, and I was in a level 9 fury over the shitty people and driving we'd dealt with all day. We got stuck in a traffic jam after hitting up a Sonic for late night dessert on the way back to our hotel, and I was fuming. Without missing a beat, she takes a spoonful of her ice cream and just starts saying, "Lieutenant Dan, I got you some ice cream from Forrest Gump." I no-sold it and didn't want to break my focus on being mad, and all of a sudden I see the spoon enter my line of vision from the left as she just says in an elongated fashion, "Lieutenant Dan, ice cream." I burst out laughing, and we laughed for like 10 minutes in traffic. It's still regularly brought up as one of our inside jokes and makes me smile to this day. The thing to note here is that this is a real act of love. Sometimes when the person you care about is having a really shitty time, the best thing to do is just be a clown. Sometimes you can't fix the thing they're upset about, but you can do something else silly or cute, and it can make a huge difference. We are just bags of chemicals, and when these chemicals align in a certain way we end up with these things called emotions, and they can have a powerful grip on us. But those emotions can be changed quickly if someone is willing to put in some effort. Congratulations to you. You're very lucky, dude. If I were you, every time I told this story or even thought about it, I'd go do something nice for my wife. Really high, doing a puzzle with my husband, and we were eating the shittiest frozen pizza we had ever eaten. Like, just the worst. It was supposed to be garlic cheese, and it tasted like absolute nothing in cardboard, so we started pulling everything out of the fridge to put on it and make it better. Finally, my husband decided he was going to cook a bunch of hot dogs and roll them up in the pizza. Somehow, the concept of hot dog pizza was so incredibly funny, we both started laughing and couldn't stop. I laughed so hard, for so long it became physically painful, and I couldn't breathe, but I couldn't stop laughing, so I was just barking out this weird honking cough. By the time we stopped laughing, I was pretty sure I had laughed myself sober. We marked the date on our calendar, so we never forgot Hot Dog Pizza Day. And a month after that night, Pizza Hut came out with hot dog crust pizza, and I swear they were spying on us. Edit. For anyone who wanted to know, Hot Dog Pizza Day is October 13th. My friend and I were watching Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs when we were about 12. There's a scene in that movie where a giant bowl of water spills on everybody sitting in bleachers, and there's a guy in the splash zone ready to get wet, except everybody except him gets splashed instead, and he throws his hat on the ground and yells, "Oh, come on." My friend and I laughed our asses off at this, and this eventually led to us replaying a ton of scenes in slow motion, zoomed in, etc. There was a scene in South Park where they are trying to get a whale to the moon. Long story, makes no sense. But there was one gag that the boys cannot get NASA to do it, so they go to MASA, the Mexican Space Agency. So, when the rocket takes off with the whale, some mariachis come out and play a song to celebrate. I don't know why, but it caught us off guard and a friend and me started laughing so hard and so long I thought I was going to die of asphyxia. Misheard an episode of Octonauts about the coconut crab. The phrase astronaut crabs conjured simultaneous images of crabs in spacesuits and also giant crabs cracking open astronauts with their claws, and I absolutely lost it. I could hardly breathe. There were tears of mirth. My children were terrified, but also trying to keep up with the joke, which I could barely explain. We still talk about it, but it will never be quite as funny as when my brain caught me by surprise. In a similar vein, I was with a bunch of friends at an anime convention and hadn't slept well for 2 nights, simply because I can never sleep away from home, and was trying to doze on a hotel room bed while the others were getting ready. One girl asked another, "Nami, can you pass me the body spray?" And Nami exclaimed, "Body flies." The other replied sarcastically, "Yes, pass me the body flies," and I lost it. I laid on the bed and laughed for minutes on end, the others regarding me with disgust. Since they were ready to hit the con again, everyone shuffled out of the room, threatening to leave me, so I forced myself to stop laughing, got up and followed them. Down in the convention hall, I thought about goddamn body flies again and started giggling, but I didn't want the others to know, so I pretended to be looking at some brochures and tried to regain composure. My best friend caught sight of me trying my damnedest not to laugh and came over, saw I was looking at a stack of brochures, and turned to me and said with feigned contempt, "Tell me you're not still laughing at body flies." That was the end of me, and I had to sit down on the floor in the middle of this convention, sobbing laughing, tears on my face, while my friends were left bewildered and kind of repulsed. By the end of the weekend, though, it had become an actual sort of inside joke and stillies, so I guess I was somewhat vindicated.